Different government authorities have approached as of late and conceded that financial false banner occasions have been coordinated by the first class with a specific end goal to legitimize monetary changes. As of late, two authorities from the International Monetary Fund said they require the danger of a fast-approaching budgetary disaster so as to constrain Greece into tolerating extreme starkness. Washington'sBlog.com reports. For instance, Japanese Prime Minister Junichiro Koizumi and Japanese National Bank authorities conceded that they kept Japan's economy in a deflationary emergency to advance basic change which would enable the Japanese economy to be plundered by outside premiums. Japanese National Bank authorities conceded a similar thing. Something comparable occurred in Thailand and the EU. In reality, the previous leader of the Bank of England said a month ago that the wretchedness in the EU was pretty much a think strategy decision. What's more, a market analyst at protection monster AIG- and previous leader of the European Commission's unit in charge of the European monetary system and fiscal strategies, said in 2008 that what European pioneers needed was to make an emergency to drive presentation of European financial government. What's more, the TARP bank bailouts in the U.S. were passed utilizing prophetically calamitous, and false, dangers. Furthermore, they were not utilized for the expressed reason. The New York Times composed a year ago. By and large, Congress felt harassed by Mr. Paulson a year ago. A significant number of them intensely trusted they ought not prop up the banks that had driven us to this emergency, yet they were pushed by Mr. Paulson and Mr. Bernanke into passing the $700 billion TARP, which was then used to safeguard those extremely banks. In reality, Congressman Brad Sherman and Paul Konjarsky and Senator James Inhofe say that the administration cautioned of military law if TARP wasn't passed. That is particularly intriguing given that the budgetary emergency had really been continuing for quite a while. However, as opposed to managing it, Paulson and whatever remains of the group endeavored to cover it up and imagine it was contained, and that it was clear to world leaders months prior that it was anything but a liquidity emergency, yet a dissolvability emergency. Trap and switch. The TARP Inspector General has said that Paulson distorted the enormous bank's well-being in the run-up to section of TARP. This is no little issue, as the American Open would have not been exceptionally amped up for offering cash to wiped-out foundations. Furthermore, Paulson himself has stated, amid the 2 weeks that Congress thought about the TARP enactment, economic situations exacerbated extensively. It was obvious to me when the bill was marked on October 3 that we expected to act rapidly and commandingly, and that acquiring grieved resources, our underlying concentration, would set aside opportunity to execute and would not be adequate given the seriousness of the issue. In interview with the Federal Reserve, I confirmed that the most auspicious, successful advance to enhance credit economic situations was to reinforce bank accounting reports rapidly through direct buys of value in banks. So Paulson knew when the bill was marked that it wouldn't be utilized for its publicized reason, discarding lethal resources, and would rather be utilized to give cash specifically to the huge banks? Representative McCain additionally says that Paulson pulled a draw and switch. Senator John McCain of Arizona says he was deceived by then Treasury Secretary Henry Paulson and Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke. McCain said the Combine guaranteed him that the $700 billion troubled asset relief program would center around what was viewed as the reason for the monetary emergency, the lodging emergency. Clearly, that didn't occur, McCain said in a gathering Thursday with the Republic's editorial board, relating his basic leadership amid the basic introductory long stretches of the monetary emergency. They chose to balance out the Wall Street Foundation's Safeguard, Protection Goliath, AIG, Rescue Chrysler, Rance General Motors. What they figured was that on the off chance that they balanced out Wall Street, I get it was streamed down financial matters, that in this manner Main Street would be fine. Indeed, even the New York Times called Paulson a liar in 2008. In the first place, Paulson's Department of Treasury says it needs to have $700 billion to purchase back harmful home loan upheld securities. At that point, as Mr. Paulson disclosed to the Times this week, things being what they are even before the bill passed the House, He advised his staff to begin drawing up an arrangement for capital infusions. Dreading Congress' response, he didn't enlighten the Hill regarding his difference in heart. Now, he's changed gears once more, and is guiding Treasury to utilize the cash to compel bank acquisitions. Sneaking in the tax reduction isn't precisely certainty moving, either. What tax cuts is the Times discussing? The article clarifies. Another tax cut, pushed by Treasury, worth billions to the keeping money industry, that has just a single reason: to energize bank mergers. As an assessment master, Robert Willans, put it, it couldn't be clearer on the off chance that they had taken out a promotion.